Hello. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about who said what to me, and I'm getting deeper into words, actions, expressions. In general, people's attitudes affect me a lot, both positively and negatively, to the point that I can't sleep when I feel something wrong. But when I see a well-intentioned person read something nice, I feel very calm. Are you like that? How do you manage to erase the negative and destructive people you meet during the day? I have an acquaintance who really likes to challenge me, and after meeting her, I sleep like a rabbit for 4 nights, i.e., I'm in a half-awake state. I try to avoid it, but the circumstances are such that I have to wait for you at least once a month. Is there a way to make my words and what she says not affect me?
If that story sounds familiar, that feeling of being almost too tuned in to the people around you, then you're in the right place. In this explainer, we're going to dive into the why behind that feeling, and, more importantly, we'll look at some real, practical ways you can protect your own peace. First off, know this. You are absolutely not alone. That feeling, it's actually a recognized trait. And just understanding it, well, that's the very first step to getting a handle on it. This isn't about trying to change your personality or anything like that. It's about building up a toolkit, really, to help you move through the world a little more comfortably. So let's start by actually putting a name to this experience.
Okay, let's get into understanding what high sensitivity really is. The most important thing to get right away is that we need to reframe this. This is not a flaw. It's not a weakness. It's really about how your nervous system is wired. And yeah, psychologists have a name for it. So the official term is high interpersonal sensitivity. What does that actually mean? Well, a great way to think about it is like having a super finely tuned radar for social cues. You're just more likely to notice the little things, a tiny shift in someone's tone, a quick expression that flashes across their face, or just the vibe in a room. It's a really powerful kind of awareness, actually. So what's going on in your brain after one of those tough interactions? Well, your nervous system can basically flip into what we call threat mode. Your brain just kicks into overdrive, replaying that conversation again and again, trying to analyze every single word and expression to figure out what happened. It thinks it's protecting you, but all that hypervigilance, it doesn't actually make you safer. It just leads straight to burnout, total mental and emotional exhaustion. And this is really the double-edged sword of this trait, isn't it? On the one hand, yeah, negative people can absolutely drain you and cause that anxiety and sleeplessness. But on the other hand, positive, kind people can fill you up with this incredible sense of calm and joy. Your ability to be deeply affected goes both ways. The real trick then is learning how to manage what you let in. Okay, so let's talk about the triggers. Specifically, let's zero in on those people who seem to have this huge impact on our energy. You know the ones, like that acquaintance we heard about in the beginning, the one who can throw off your sleep for days. What is it that they're actually doing? These people, we can call them provocateurs, are usually pretty subtle. They don't just come out and criticize you directly. No, it's more like a veiled comment, maybe disguised as a joke or a bit of irony. And somehow, they just have this knack for putting you on the defensive, right? You feel like you have to explain yourself. You end up walking away with this vague, unsettled feeling that something's just wrong, and you can't quite put your finger on it. And a lot of the time, it's because what they said just poked at an old insecurity. Now, this right here, this is maybe the most important insight in this entire explainer. Pay close attention to this one. It's not their words that are keeping you up at night. It's the inner dialogue you have with yourself after the conversation is over. And that inner conversation is the one piece of this puzzle you actually have control over. Okay, so how do we control that inner dialogue? The idea is to build what you can think of as an inner filter. It's like a conscious boundary that helps you sort through everything and decide what you're going to let in and what you're going to just let go of. So let's get practical. Here are some real hands-on tools you can use to start building that filter. All right, tool number 1 is all about creating some mental space right in the moment. So when a comment stings, I want you to consciously walk through these 3 steps. First, just acknowledge it. Okay, I heard that. Then step 2, immediately tell yourself this is their perspective. It's not the truth. And then this last step is so important. You consciously repeat, this is not my responsibility to carry. You are literally dropping their baggage instead of picking it up. Okay, on to our second tool. This one is for when you're actually in the tough conversation. See, provocateurs feed on emotional reactions. They want to get a rise out of you. The gray rock method is all about starving them of that fuel. It's exactly what it sounds like. You make yourself as emotionally uninteresting as a plain old gray rock. So how do you actually do that?
It's simple, but not always easy. You give short, factual answers, no long stories. And you have to fight that urge, and it's a strong one, to over-explain or justify yourself. Don't try to get them to approve of you. Your entire goal is just to be calm, neutral, and honestly, kind of boring. It completely disarms them because there's just nothing for their drama to stick to.
But what about later? What if you did your best, but now it's 3 in the morning and your mind is just racing? Here's a great trick. You have to break the cycle physically. I mean it. Get out of bed, grab a pen and paper, write down the specific thought that's looping in your head. Then, right next to it, write down a rational, logical response. The simple act of getting it out of your head and onto paper engages a different part of your brain. It's like you're short-circuiting that anxious, repetitive thought loop. And if you want to take this a step further for some deeper work, here's a really powerful question to ask yourself. What old fear or insecurity in me is this person activating? Because let's be honest, a lot of the time, someone's words only have power over us because they're hooking into a fear we already have. A fear of not being good enough or of being seen the wrong way. Once you can identify that root, their words lose so much of their sting. All right, so we've looked at the challenges and we've got some new tools for our toolkit. Now let's bring it all home and circle back to what this trait is really all about. Because the goal is not to get rid of your sensitivity, not at all. It's to understand it and learn how to use it as a strength. So from now on, if you find that other people's moods are wrecking your sleep, try to see it as a signal. It's just a signpost telling you, hey, my inner filter needs a little work. And the most important thing to remember is that this filter isn't a fixed thing. It's not something you're born with or without. It's a skill. And just like any other skill, you can build it up with practice. And please, never, ever forget the other side of this. That very same sensitivity that can make you feel so vulnerable to negative comments, that's the exact same trait that gives you this incredible capacity for empathy, for real joy, and for creating deep, meaningful connections with people. It truly is a source of great strength. So remember, the goal isn't to feel less, it's to learn how to filter better. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question. Think about the tools we just went over. Mental separation, the gray rock method, writing things down at night. Which one of those feels like a good first step for you? Which tool will you use to start protecting your energy and taking back your peace?